Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back. And we're going to be talking about a glittering event, alhamdulillah, that happened last Friday evening in KZN. And this after a 2-year lapse of COVID-19. Of course, we're all still smarting from that, are we not? Minara Chamber of Commerce Business Awards and Gala Dinner 2022 was held in Durban on Friday. The event was live streamed through media partners Hilal TV and Salam Media for those who were unable to attend. And alhamdulillah, that's how I became a part of the event, because I was watching it on Hilal TV, and amazing coverage, very enjoyable. I wish I could have been there in person, but of course it was not possible. But I still was a part of the awards. To talk to us about that wonderful award is Suleman. He is the president of Minara Chamber of Commerce. Assalamu alaikum to you, Suleman. Welcome to the program.
Wa alaikum salam, and thank you for having me on the program this morning.
A sigh of relief, I should imagine, after months of hard work.
Yes, I must basically commend our manager at the office, Amina Hanif, who really did a phenomenal job whilst I was on holiday up till Wednesday. So she did a brilliant job. And of course, it's been a 2-year hiatus for these awards. And it's such an important event, basically, to really recognize and, making sure people are showcased. Lots of them are really don't want to be showcased, but at the same time, I think it's important since they are role models for the younger generation coming up. There's too much of a me generation rather than a we generation, and I think at the end of the day, those that were finalists and those that won really are good examples of what we should aspire to.
Alhamdulillah, I like what you say there, a me generation rather than a we generation. And that's really sad. And I hope and pray that we can break that mindset. Having said that, let's understand the importance of such events, such recognition, because this is contained within the Muslim community. How does this kind of go beyond our community for non-Muslims to recognize the winners that we have in our midst and the change? These people are change makers, are they not?
Yeah, well, I think the many people that have won awards, with the Minara Awards evenings have gone on to win awards, in many so-called non-Muslim functions as well. So I think it does sort of lay the foundation for people to go ahead and whatever happens with our awards, it's been seen by many others rather than just the Muslim community. So it does make an impact and does play a role in some of our businesses, winning awards elsewhere, winning accolades elsewhere. There have been many cases of that, because many of the individuals that win awards here are really role models, not just for the Muslim community. They play a role in the general community as such, So I think this is important.
For people who weren't at the awards evening and who didn't manage to catch it live, either on Hilal TV or live streamed by Salam Media, I was justifiably proud of the caliber of talent that we have in our community. Captains of industry, right across the board. And I sat back thinking that we can really be a community to contend with because of the widespread of intelligence we have within our community. And of course, the notable difference we're making, not only within the community, but the country at large, the economy of the country, and how we are in fact forging ahead. Talk to us more about these captains of industry that were present and what a difference they have made and are making within the community and the country at large.
Yeah, well, if you take the Community Builder Award, I mean, you have had 4 individuals that play a very significant role in various fields. I mean, you take Azad Wadi, I mean, in agriculture, which is such an important, it's so important for South Africa, developing the agriculture basically, in our communities. And I think that's such an important one. You talk of Ashraf Ismail, who's playing a role in the transport industry. You take chap Ahmed Parak, that plays a very important, has been playing a very important role in the burial councils and that and various other roles in the community, especially when you want to facilitate things. And of course, Yasira with the Caring Sisters Network is very dynamic, and she's been involved with so many different things. So on that side, on the community builder side, I think the individuals play such a phenomenal role across the board, not just focusing on Muslim. In fact, most of the community builder normally is really focused on how to uplift the general community, the disadvantaged community, and I think that's important. From the business side, I think you've got so much of talent. One of the things that we always say is that the Muslim community and Muslim leadership is in almost every corporate. If you take any corporate in this country and you interrogate the directorships or interrogate the management, they're bound to be Muslims in that, in making a difference. I mean, take Zunaid Bulbulia, who was our guest speaker that night. I mean, he was the CEO. He's the former CEO of MTN. You take Vodacom. He's got a Muslim that was a CEO. Now he's really in charge of the whole of Africa. Take every big four auditing company. And we always say that, we've got the Minara Chamber. It's such a good vehicle. And it's, one thing I mentioned the other night as well, that it's not about what the chamber can do for you. It's really what the individual can do for the chamber by joining the chamber, because I think, as I said before, it's unfortunately in the younger generation you have this me culture rather than a we culture, and I think we need to change that, because ultimately if you lay the ground rules and you develop the foundation in this country, you can do so much more for the general community. And the spin-off is obviously, from a business perspective, you get that type of spin-off as well. So I think
Absolutely.
these are the things that we need to get into our individual, because often there's this apathy. People say, "Why do we have to join? What's in it for me?" But when they have a problem, they turn around and say, "No, we need some help. We need to get a visa. We need to lobby government, or we need something done." Then the guys are there, which is sad, because it costs quite a bit to run these type of organizations. And I think it's important that we support the type of initiative that Minara and other organizations do, because we got such an important role to play in South Africa. And
Absolutely.
and I mean, we've got such phenomenal talent, as you mentioned, and the resources within this community of ours. I mean, you take the looting that happened last year. I mean, the people that were in the forefront, even during the flooding, it was our people right in the
Absolutely.
forefront. I mean, people had,
Absolutely.
no matter how wealthy you were last year, you couldn't get bread or milk. And our
True.
community provided bread or milk for all and sundry, from the mosques and from the halls and that type of thing.
Alhamdulillah, that event really, not only that event, every time there's a call or a cry or a need for support voluntarily or through charitable organizations, shukr alhamdulillah, it always seems to be the Muslim organizations that are at the forefront. But let's talk more about the Minara Chamber of Commerce. How long are you in operation? Why and how did this start up? And what's your role currently? And how do you see the chamber, moving forward, encompassing all of the challenges of, today's society?
Yeah, so from the Chamber's perspective, we're in existence for almost 20, just over 20 years. And we started the Chamber on the basis that, there is no Muslim Chamber of Commerce. And, the Muslim ethos is different from the non-Muslim ethos. So we said, we need to inculcate a culture and consciousness of how to do business the Islamic way, the ethical way, whether it's not just Islamic finance, it's Islamic economics, Islamic management, how to treat our human resource and that type of thing. So I think over the last 20 years, we've played an important role. We've have a very significant, role within government. They often, speak to us about, to give feedback. We are on the in the local government. We are on CEO's forum. We are on the Ethiopian Advisory Council. We are on the national provincial council as well. And we're hoping we can do that in Gauteng and in the Western Cape as well. So going forward, I think the focus is on the one hand to continue lobbying government. I mean, with all the drama that government has had, we are still there. Often you find the individuals in government will phone us and say, "Sorry, we need this type of help. We need that type of help." And we are there to help them. Irrespective of any other fact. It's frustrating that we have a scenario where we know what to do to fix the problems in this country, but we kind of helpless. Although you advise the government, you often find they just don't take the advice, because what happens at the political level is not filter down to the governmental departments. So the whole ethos. So we want to continue interacting at the various government levels on the one hand. The second hand, we're looking at really continuing our relationship with the various trade commissioners around the world, and we've got a good relationship with most of the foreign embassies, both the Muslim and the non-Muslim. So we want to carry on with that type of thing, where we facilitate. Years ago we had the Pakistani Rice Council that was in South Africa, and they wanted us to open up the doors for them with our businesses here. We did that, and they suddenly became a huge business for them, and we do that on a regular basis. One of our directors is a honorary consul general for Indonesia, so that's on the second side. The third side is the SMME sector is such an important sector, and we really are partnering with South African Muslim Charitable Trust and Al Baraka Bank to create a process of microloans, which we've done already. We were part of a group called REHOP, which was the bank, Al Baraka Bank, as well as South African Muslim Charitable Trust and a few other NGOs. And we were involved in providing microfinance, well, actually not microfinance, grants to individuals in the Sipingo area. Many of them lost the entire businesses. And then the other one would be microloans that we are setting up now with the South African Muslim Charitable Trust and Al Baraka Bank, where we want to actually identify individuals who want to start small business or used to own small businesses, and we're trying to find a way to ensure that they can get going again. I mean, remember the hospitality industry, the travel industry was destroyed in the last 2 years, and it's starting to pick up now. But the tragedy is in Durban, we still have a bit of a challenge, and we're still going to be engaging government to fix, the sanitation and the water and the roads, and so many things are not working well here. I think Gauteng has a similar problem.
Absolutely.
So we need to work with government and look at it. Then again, we're looking at the youth empowerment. We've actually identified two young and upcoming individuals that are very dynamic, and that's one of the challenges we have. We don't have enough youngsters that want to come to the system. I mean, we had youngsters a while back, and they want to know, how do we get paid? There's no pay here. It's a voluntary organization. The first thing, how do we get paid? It costs us money to come to the meeting. But there's no such thing as getting paid, because this is a voluntary thing. You need to find ways to, in your heart, to kind of basically improve your, do something for the community. Because if you lay the platform and you lay the foundation in the future, there's greater business, because we empower the communities, improve entrepreneurship, improve businesses, reduce poverty, create employment. That guaranteed that comes back into the economy. From a business perspective, that's what we require. I mean, obviously, if the economy or the environment is not stable, then it impacts on businesses. I mean, that's what we see at the moment. Many businesses are struggling, even though COVID is kind of at the tail end, although it's picking up a bit more now, but it's at the tail end as opposed to previously, where the fear was that it's going to really infect you and you're going to end up dying. But so those are things that, and even women, we look at the women, whether in a home environment or other environments, and I think one of the things that we're going to look at as well going forward is the psychological and emotional support together with the Islamic Medical Association, because there's a lot of unfortunate trauma out there for people that have lost everything. I mean, people that are relatively wealthy. I mean, big businesses crashed in that period. I mean, if you were in the furniture business, you're in the curtaining business and all that type of thing, and for a certain number of months, you really did no business. So those type of businesses have left a lot of people sitting at home and kind of moping and basically crying. We had, I've just employed 2 individuals. One was with the company a shop that closed up, a business that closed up after 31 years. And the poor thing was sitting at home, and she had such a lot of potential. And then there was another one as well who was sitting at home, and we offered them the job. They were actually crying. And that's the type of scenario out there. A lot of, and in fact, the type of organization that we recognize on Friday night, they're quite involved, especially CSN, involved in trying to uplift these people and ensuring that at least they have some meal per day.
Solly, I'm absolutely amazed. I didn't realize just how involved the Minara Chamber of Commerce is involved in the upliftment of the community and the country as a whole. So, mashallah, continue your amazing work. And the one thing that you could respond to the young people, when you offer them a learnership or some sort of upskilling, and they ask you what are they going to be paid, tell them the upskilling or the awareness or what you learn being on this program is
Mhm.
absolutely priceless. You can't put a monetary value to it if you
Yes.
have an open mind, inshallah. But I am really and truly amazed at the reach that Minara Chamber of Commerce has. I had no idea that you were this invested in the community and the upliftment, and the connections and the networks you have. So may all of your hard work, your dedication, and everything that you guys do for the community, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of your efforts. Wonderful
Ameen.
talking to you this morning. Keep up the amazing work. Assalamu alaikum to you.
Alaikum salam.
That
Sorry.
was Solly Suleman. He is the president of the Minara Chamber of Commerce. And really, I didn't imagine or really realize just how entrenched they are in the community and what a difference they make. Alhamdulillah. May they carry on, and may they open up offices or branches throughout the country. It is exactly 7 after 9. Zaid Jadwid, our news correspondent, is standing by. And of course, he's going to go straight into the news bulletin of the morning. Salaam alaikum, Zaid, into the news bulletin. Shukran very much for being on the show this morning. Over to you.